Climb 1, Stairway to Heaven. It's really kind of easy going, the bulk of it, but then the crux, which in climbing, for those that don't know, is the hardest part of a climb, the crux on that one is at the top. That move, I have to step with my right foot onto this little nub that's maybe a ½ inch wide, or a ½ inch thick and maybe like an inch wide, and you have to step a foot up onto that and fully rely on it while you grab the finishing hold. But yeah, that was the first one on the day, and today I kind of ran up it and made sure it felt all right, came back down, and then went for the whole thing in one fluid go. Climb 2, the playground. This is an awesome chunk of rock that has multiple climbs. There's this epic, like 40, 45 foot tall climb, and it happens to be the tallest climb of today. It also has some holds that are a little flaky. Some of the holds in rock climbing, you want to double check that it doesn't budge, because sometimes one budges and then you put weight on it and it'll snap off. So of course, in my preparation for the side of the playground, I checked all those things as I'm going up on the climb. Climb 3, Nimai, AKA Baby Half Dome. I wasn't really intending on doing it a few months ago. When I did do it, I was out climbing on a rock nearby. A guy walked past and we started talking. His name was Nimai. We ended up going up to this rock later that afternoon. I was showing him what I was working on with it, which is the bottom section, which is very hard to get onto. And then it's a decently hard climb after that, and definitely sketchy, which is why it's on the list. I got up on it and he was there, and I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I went and was like, whoa, and like I made it, and it felt awesome. And he was truly like amazed. He's like, that was very impressive. And I was just like, thanks, like I don't know what to say. It's just a good feeling. And then one of my things in climbing is if you can't do it twice, you can't do it. So basically I ran up and did it a second time, and of course very hard to get onto the bottom of. But today I had a new method, which you'll see, which is running up to the base of it. And it took a while to get on top of the rock doing it that way, but eventually I ran and stuck to the bottom and hung on for dear life. Climb 4, Pablo pooped his pants. Okay, I did. This one, ultimately, I was like, Pablo, I don't really have a name for it. So he was like, you know what, I pooped my pants nearly when I saw it. So Pablo pooped his pants is the name. This is one that's very special to me because it took multiple nights, just like the first climb, of coming out and practicing the bottom, making sure all the moves were very secure, and getting to the top, which this one, the crux, just like the first one, is at the top. And that, when you're soloing, when you don't have a rope, that's really tough, because that's the point where you definitely don't want to fall. Like, while that one may only be 15, 20 feet above the ground, like the first climb, the landing is just awful. It's like rigid rocks and sticks. It would not be good. So basically this one's special to me because I eventually overcame that last little bit of fear for the very last move, and I just kind of confidently place my 2 feet, my right hand, where they need to be, and then I reach high up, as you'll see in the video, and there's a nice finishing hold, kind of like on the first climb. And I keep mentioning the first climb because that one and this fourth climb were very similar in that they took a few days of preparation, and they both kind of felt equally as awesome when I finally finished them.
It's a cornflake.
Yeah.
Hell no, it's not a cornflake. Boy, that's a dinosaur cornflake.
Climb 5, it's not a cornflake. Early on in my climbing out here on Mt Woodson, as I mentioned, I've only been climbing since January of this year, and cornflake I accomplished in maybe March or April. It was pretty early on, and that day when I finally had the confidence to just know that I could do it, given that it's like a 30-foot tall climb, I just went, and when I made it, I just was like so stoked that I ended up doing it a total of 7 times that day. Just wanted to get better and better at it, and that was like kind of a turning point for me in my climbing out here. I started looking at things differently. I was like, you know what? I don't care if they're big, like if it has the holds, like I want to do it. Climb 6, Tarantulaces. This one, I don't know if it has a formal name, and as you can tell by now, I've just kind of been naming these whatever I like to, given that they do have real names on Mountain Project. However, this one I named Tarantulaces because my first 2 pair of rock climbing shoes that I've been using out here got to a point where they needed to be sent in to be resold. So I had to go to REI to get some new ones for a potential trip I was gonna go on. And it was just made sense to just get a new pair anyways. And they had a sale on the tarantula laces, which are already like a more affordable pair. And so in my head, I'm thinking, okay, maybe these aren't as good. But I was out there climbing, came across tarantula laces. I remember seeing it months ago and thinking one day, and I didn't let the shoes get in the way of me not climbing it. I just worked on it and made it to the top. And so far, that climb, 2 months ago when I did it, that was truly my most like satisfying climb, getting to the top of. And then 7, I intended to call Summer's Crown because it kind of looks like a crown or tiara.
Yeah.
And Summer was like, I told her I was gonna name a rock for her, and her one request was that it was like towards the top. So I was like, I'm gonna call it that. Climb 7, Summer's Crown. This one is a very scenic boulder. I love the backdrop that you get from filming off the left side. And today, I actually did something a little new on it. I first did this one up the middle, and that's what I was planning on today, but it's almost a little too easy. So today I did that right side arête, and it definitely was a bit sketchy to put it on the list. Ultimately, I'm very stoked for having done the right side of it, something I haven't done before today, whereas the other 6 climbs I have done all at least 2 times. But today, 7th climb here, Summer's Crown, this was brand new. So what's next? I've been out here on Mount Woodson for nearly a year. Woodson has been my training grounds. I love it out here. I do plan on coming back to Woodson, but things are a bit up in the air for me right now, so there's gonna be a lot of traveling. I do intend to be back in Northern California, especially for next summer, to do some Yosemite trips and also to pursue deepwater soloing. Deepwater soloing is really the perfect combination of everything for me because, as some of you may know, I have spent years cliff diving. Basically, every cliff diving place happens to have decent deepwater soloing because you have steep cliffs that you can jump off, and a lot of times they're rugged enough to find a way to climb up. So for me, that's kind of like the goal, is to pursue deepwater soloing and kind of push the limits of that sport, that subcategory of climbing. And then other than that, I also want to get into bigger solos. As I mentioned before, I love what Alex Honnold does. I think it's the coolest thing. And basically my goal, after having learned on Woodson here, is to start soloing bigger climbs in the 5.6, 5.7 range, and eventually 5.8, 5.9. I might have to pump the brakes after that and see what I think about 5.10s, but in terms of the big solos. But definitely some free soloing, definitely some deep water soloing on the horizon.
Hi, my name is Pablo Gandara Piza, and I was the person behind the lens that recorded this entire climbing feat. Dylan and I, we've been working in stuff like this for a while. We did cliff jumping back in the days. We liked filming our stupid jumps, and me with my Buzz Lightyear wings flying off the cliffs, falling into the ocean. So we've had a fun time. He called me up and said, hey, I'm gonna do these 7 sketchy solos. And when he said sketchy, I understood the meaning of sketchy, but now I understand sketchy like I've never understood it before. I love this place. I love Mount Woodson, and I hate it at the same time because I always did the horrible side, which is the other side of Mount Woodson, which is terrible. It takes like 14,000 hours to get up here. I didn't know you could access it from the 67. Here comes Dylan and said it's a nice hike, and he was right. It's not that long either. So I'm really excited to be here and to have the honor to film my dear friend doing this great feat, and I'm just really happy that it's over because it was nerve-wracking. Climb 1, poop my pants, dude. All of them for me, I pooped my pants. They were ridiculous. I mean, and he's like, this is so easy. Like, he was like, last one, number 7, which is the crown. What is it? Summer's Crown. He's like, this is the easiest one and the least sketchy. Are you serious, Dylan? You gotta be me out of my mind, bro. Like, it was the sketchiest of them all. Just because the landing, either you land on like a foot of distance or you fall into like eternity. So yeah, no. They were all super sketchy. I didn't realize this, but while I was filming, I was like holding my breath. And then it's like, oh, okay, I need to breathe like 4 seconds into it. So every time he would climb it, it's like I would have climbed that too. So So I was just really relieved every time he would reach the top and just like, that was so cool. Like nothing had happened and he just went 40 feet on the air. Jimmy Chin for me is like somebody that I admire. Tommy Caldwell, Kevin Jurgensen, obviously, you know, Honold, all of them, they really jump-started my climbing last year. And I just feel very honored to be doing this amazing sport that has helped me recover my strength after lots of years of being sick. Also a lot of confidence because you build your confidence in like really holding your entire body with just little nipples of rock. So, but I'm never doing it without a rope. That ain't my game. That ain't my cup of sweet tea or whatever you want to call it. But I'm just really, really happy that I was able to do this. I can't wait to continue doing this. You're the Alex Honnold, I'm the Jimmy Chin. So thank you for watching and have a great day. First one done.
I might be able to do that. Oh, I can do that. Oh, okay, that's a better left foot route as opposed to that. Left there, right there. Hang on for dear life. Oh, so close. Left foot there, right foot there. Squeeze. Oh.
Oh. Oh.
There you are. There you are.
You got this.
I was not expecting to get up on that.
Dude.
Oh, there's another broad jump too. I forgot. Oh. This one I will not die on. Okay.
That was perfect form.